Digital Storytelling in Today's Classroom by Jennifer Bowen. Digital storytelling is tell me the facts that I'll learn, tell me the truth and I'll believe, but tell me the story and it will live in my heart forever by an ancient prophet. Storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world today by Robert McFee Brown. Also, the most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of the entire generation that is to come by Steve Jobs. What is digital storytelling? Digital storytelling is essentially any combination of a classic method of telling a story with different types of media like still images, movies, sound files, drawings, text, and many other types along with new technology to edit and share the stories. Digital storytelling is a short form of digital media production that allows for everyone and everyday people to share aspects of their story by Wikipedia. Short, personal, multimedia titles told from the heart, Daniel Meadows. Although the concept of digital storytelling is closely linked to the use of new technology, we should not forget that it is always the story and not the technology that teachers should focus on. We should mirror the digital skills with the literature education. This is where teachers still have a role to play even in the digital age. The history of digital storytelling. Digital storytelling began with the inventions of the moving picture. However, tools to make a movie were not available to the common people. The public consumed the movies that were produced but never gave any feedback. This is no longer the case. With today's technology, anyone can turn their stories into digital. Anyone can be a digital storyteller. The first digital storytellers were Kevin Burns, Dan Atchley, Joe Lambert, and Daniel Meadows. Whereas Ken Burns used the method rather for documentation, such as his films The Civil War in 1990. Dana Atchley told personal stories, sometimes in front of a live audience. It was Atchley who taught storytelling in workshops and worked with companies such as Coca-Cola, Price Waterhouse Coopers, Apple Computers, Abode and Pinnacle Systems. Daniel Meadows, who worked as a photographer and teacher, brought storytelling to Europe, established the method in Great Britain, and was the creative director of the BBC's Capture Wales project. Why should digital storytelling be used in classrooms today? With digital storytelling, students can create amazing projects with a great range of creativity without being a fabulous artist or wordsmith. They can tell stories or communicate information in their own way and on their relations. All students need a blueprint for self-expression to show what they have learned, to see newfound knowledge and skills in a real-world light, to take risk and to take learning into their own hands. Another reason why digital storytelling should be used in today's classrooms is because it promotes leadership, it promotes critical thinking, it promotes the writing process, it promotes competency, it also promotes collaboration. Digital storytelling promotes leadership. Digital storytelling is geared to an audience. A good leader listens to their audience, taking into account what they want to hear and how it needs to be presented. In classrooms, students will grow their leadership skills by discovering what topic they are um, passionate about, researching the topic, and using it to develop a digital story their audience will be interested in viewing. Being part of the audience also helps build leadership skills too. When students listen to the knowledge of others, they grow in their own knowledge. Linking knowledge is the key to success. Digital storytelling promotes capability with technology. Students live in a world of technology. Their future jobs will require technology skills. They need to be trained in how to use this technology. Classroom exposure provides a safe environment to nurture these skills and to build confidence. Digital storytelling mirrors the traditional writing process. Although it is a different format, it is still writing. Students are required to follow the steps of a writing project. They must brainstorm, plan, create, revise, edit, publish, and reflect on their finished product. As in writing, the planning stage is the largest stage of any digital storytelling production. Digital storytelling requires critical thinking and decision making. Students will need to use higher level thinking skills to make decisions that will affect their final story. They will need to create a goal and plan to reach the goal. Students will need to decide if their ideas are feasible or if they need to make a more uh, practical approach. They will need to decide if they will incorporate all the multi aspects of digital storytelling, such as images, video, audio, and text. They must decide what their message is trying to reach their audience and what they're trying to tell their audience. Digital storytelling encourages sharing and collaboration. Teachers can use digital storytelling to encourage students to work together to achieve a goal. It can be used to teach an academic concept. Teachers specify skills, tell a story, bring awareness to an issue, and create an impact. Students are able to immediately share their work and receive feedback. This fosters a sense of community within the classroom, and students begin to grow and learn from each other. Project-based learning, such as digital storytelling, adds a new dimension to a child's learning experience. Digital storytelling allows for creative teacher assessment. No matter what their topic is or the size of their project, digital storytelling allows students to creatively demonstrate their grasp of the content and their ability to achieve a goal. Digital storytelling allows the teacher to assess without students even realizing that it's a form of assessment. If it is being used as an assessment, it would be wise for a teacher to use a rubric to fairly assess each student. Digital storytelling helps students practice essential skills. By implementing digital storytelling in classrooms, students can practice the following skills, such as research, resource selection, scripture writing, voiceover, technical skills development, collaboration, presentation, and creative expressions. Digital stories are personal. Students need to create a script that uses available material. It should include universal story elements and involve collaboration on many levels. There are steps that students need to follow to create a great digital story. The first step of the digital story process is coming up with an idea. Um, the student must have an idea to create their stories. It can be fiction, nonfiction. It could be a topic of discussion in the class or a personal experience. When students have arrived at their idea, they will need to create a plan to bring their idea to life. They will begin by writing a proposal, constructing a paragraph, and using pre-writing tools to develop their ideas. Step 2 is research, explore, and learn. To effectively tell their story, students must research, explore, and learn about their topics. Students will learn about finding authentic resources and citing their sources. Organization is key at this point of developing. Note-taking skills will be enhanced during this process. The next step of the digital storytelling process would be writing a script. During this step, pre-writing skills will help students develop their idea and begin to write. Students can transform a proposal into an introduction. At this point, their ideas will begin to take shape and make sense. They will learn to make better words and sentences choices. They will know their topic well before the end of this stage. The next step in the digital storytelling process is planning and gathering audio, audio and videos and what they're going to be using in their storytelling. So after the script is written, it must be transitioned into digital material. Storyboarding will help students understand the audio and visual aspects of their project. They will make decisions about what images and videos and sound they want to use to create their story. This also allows them to learn about scene transitions. The next step in the digital storytelling process is gathering, creating, and planning. During this step, the students' stories will come alive. The storyboard will be a guide to develop their ideas and find the media they wish to use. They will also learn about copyrights and other digital laws. At this time, they will read their script and record their audio. when doing this, they will hear and see their heirs. The next step in this process of digital storytelling would be putting it together. When they begin to put their digital story together, they will discover if they have enough information to see the places in which they need to make adjustments. Students will generally become very involved in their projects. Teachers will be surprised how creative their students will be and what tools they utilize to create the perfect story. The next step in the digital story telling process would be the sharing of the story. Teachers will need to decide how their students' digital stories will be shared. Will they just be shared within the classroom, or will they also be shared on the internet? Students are adapt to social media and will want to share their projects outside the classroom. School and parental permission will need to be considered before it's shared outside the classroom. The last step of this process of digital storytelling would be the reflection and feedback. This is the last part of it, but definitely not the least important. Before rushing on to the next objective, teachers need to allow time for reflection and feedback. Students need to reflect on what they've learned and what they could improve for next time. This also is a good time to teach students about constructive feedback and allow them to critique the stories of other students. So here's an example of a digital storytelling. It's about Rosa Parks explaining the history and what she went through. And this could be used during a history unit or lesson. So here are two great websites to use for digital storytelling. First is Songbird, and also the Zimmer twins. Both of these websites are useful, friendly, and reliable resources for teachers and students. They also offer free accounts, can be created, and school and educational organizations can also create accounts that open many more media and digital storytelling tools. The Storybird allows for creating a printed version of the digital story. It also allows the creator to share their digital story in an online community for feedback and publishing. Um, Zimmerman, the Zimmer twins provide great instructions for the beginner in digital storytelling. They're both fantastic, and also Storybird is a fantastic movie maker tool, allowing for us to use great creativity. So I'm an Encore teacher, which is a specials teacher. I teach music, Spanish, and art in grades pre-K through second. I'm excited to introduce digital storytelling to my students in this upcoming school year. As I was developing this presentation, I've been planning on how I will incorporate digital storytelling into my units, lessons, and curriculum. I want to provide my students with the powerful 21st century learning experience that capitalizes on their interest in technology and their skills with it. I've also realized myself managing the process of crafting a powerful digital story will provide an opportunity for my students to work on project management skills like organization, time management, leadership, and teamwork. The original narrative form of digital storytelling is a powerful way to engage learners in writing, but there are many other formats that can be um, implemented to build literacy while encouraging deeper thinking about the um, the content being studied. Um, in my art class, I would like for my students to create a visual poetry. Um, Poetry's purposeful word choice encounters close, um, careful reading. I want my students to create a digital visual poetry through digital drawing and painting and imagery, visions of tech, poems to demonstrate their comprehensive of the author's words choice and intend. As they create their visual poems, students interpret words and phrases as they are used in a text, including um, demonstrating technical, cognitive, and figurative message meanings, and analyze how specific word choices shape meanings or tones. That's in the Common Core Standards curriculum, the ELA literacy standards, um, to incorporate into this lesson I like for my students to do. Okay, so I will ask my students to carefully read each line or stanza of the poem and discuss the author's word choice. Students will then find or create images for each line or stanza to illustrate the author's intent. I would like to incorporate the music skills into this project at this time. I will ask my students to also find or create music to reinforce the emotion the poem evokes. As they record the text of the poem, they practice fluency and in music. The final product of this project will be a multimedia version of the poem that they will be doing in a digital story that helps a viewer better understand the poetry. For the follow-up part of my lesson, my class will display their visual poetry for for their student-led conferences, also for festivals of learning, a district-wide come see what we have learned this year fair. The digital stories will be displayed that night on the smart board for the class to see, and also our visitors and parents.